Welcome to the plus size section. Give me your firstborn, because today we're talking about spirituality.
See.
Queer, queer, queer. La 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 la. Oh, you stank?
My pits reek, man. And I just took a shower. Am I dying? Am I dying? How come I stink when I get out of the shower?
Wait a minute. Why is... Okay, so the stank, valid question. Why are you jumping to if you're dying? Because your armpits stink. Dude,
I'm sitting here I'm just am I marinating? Am I marinating?
I mean, it is hot girl summer.
It is hot girl summer. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. And since we're only recording one episode, I'm going to ask, what were your highs and lows?
I can't believe you just told everyone that we're slacking off.
I think it's called care. Self-care.
I mean, where I'm from.
Okay. I feel like this is going to be a heavy wine night.
Am I driving you to drink? Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
No, it's Friday. It's Fun Day Friday.
That's why I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
All right. So, my highs are... Never mind, I don't want to make that joke. Because you'd have to cut it.
I'd have to cut it on I'd have to cut it from TikTok and the podcast and the audio.
You'd have to cut it entirely. You can cut this whole bit because I'm husband. All right, so my highs for the week. No, those are yours. So I got my new haircut. Got a little choppy. Because I got a haircut, I have been stemming that YouTube video from 2010 that's my new haircut, all day. It was when Guido lifestyle was super popular, but yeah, my new haircut.
Yeah, my new haircut.
I have a 3-day weekend because it's Memorial Day.
Yes.
And like I said earlier, I got a gay ass shirt.
Gay ass shirt. Yes.
And it says queer, queer, queer on the front. For those who aren't watching the video.
Right. Yes. We're here. We're queer. Get mad about it. Okay.
Well, my family's certainly would if they listened.
Oh my god. Could you imagine, Hayley, if this was your coming out right now? Your mom.
I can't think of anything more appropriate. Just me having fun, not thinking about the consequences, and then I just launch headlong into a blast of shit.
Yes. That seems so right. Just get a phone call. Already, this episode's going to be their worst nightmare because we're talking about spirituality and our witchiness. Yeah. So already they're and then at the beginning, queer here, queer over here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I kind of like it, but
I mean, what a great way.
I did just order another Pride shirt from a local business, so I will be up to 4 gay shirts once that arrives. Up from last year I had 0. Aww. So this is I guess I'm just feeling it in 2023.
You should. Embrace
Thank you for giving me permission to be my true self, Sam.
You're welcome. Somebody has to give you permission. Somebody has to tell you that it's okay, or you still think it's wrong. So you're welcome. You're welcome for that.
You really just Uno reversed that. Damn. Okay.
That's how quick. That's Libra, bro. That's Libra.
That's Capricorn. That's
Probably.
Capricorn.
Probably.
It wasn't even that aggressive, but it was still boot on my neck. Say something.
Yeah, she's feeling spicy today. I think because I worked out in the yard today. So there's something about it's turned me up. And I had just really good week. I think my highs is I had my last official day in the office, which was like, which was crazy. Woo! Yeah, my last official day. So that was crazy. And I love my old boss's daughter. Their youngest daughter is like amazing. I don't know where they fall in line. Anyways, I love their daughter. I love them, and I was like so nervous when I left that they were gonna text me and be like, "Yo, like, fuck you," you know what I mean? Like I was like, no, like they're super cool, like they're an artist and I love them. And they messaged me and they're like, I'm so happy for you, and I'm like, oh my god, thank God, like I'm so glad because like I really like you, so like I didn't want you to think like I hope your mom was chill, she acted chill, like everybody acted chill. So
knowing your boss, I did not realize that they had an offspring that young.
So many. I think
I'm assuming young anyway, based on how you're talking.
My age. They're like my age. They're like in their 30s, I think, or about to be 30.
Okay.
They're an adult. They're an adult in an adult relationship with like a whole ass child, like stepchild. Like they're an adult.
Yeah, I didn't figure they were a minor. It's just like
I don't know why.
That generation, like the age that I know your boss is like close to. Yeah. I would expect them to be like in the 50s or something. 40s, 50s. Yeah.
Now I getcha. Yeah, no. Their son's older in their 40s. But yeah. Anyways, so that was nice. Yeah. I liked that. They like helped me. I had a really good week client-wise, like with my clients and with my own business. So like the universe be universing. And that made me super happy because I was so like, whoa, but it's been amazing. Tomorrow we have like a party at the tattoo shop and I'm excited about that. I'm gonna do some walk-ins. I may even like, I think I might do like 1-card pulls for people that are waiting. I might be like, would you like to like come up all creepy? Like, would you like to pull a card? You know, see what you're
and then like freak them out when they pull one and be like, oh, I guess this is your last day on Earth. Enjoy.
No. I would never do that, but it would be hilarious. I would never do that, but it'd be funny. And then I guess the low for me this week would be that I've just had like physical and mental and emotional, I guess like all of them, physical, mental and emotional burnout, like burnt out, to the point where I caught myself one day, like on my phone the entire day on TikTok. Like, you're on TikTok a lot when you get those pop-ups that are like, hey, you want to take a scroll break?
I hate those.
I
know. I'm really burnt out.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of my way.
And like, my For You page is so messed up right now that they can't, like, I don't know what happened. It was because I don't know if it's because I updated it or what, but like TikTok doesn't know what I like anymore. And then somehow I fell on like Vanderpump Rules TikTok. Yeah. I don't know if it's just taken over TikTok or what.
It was a huge scandal. I don't really know much about it, but it was enough for me to be like, so what's going on?
Yes. It was enough for me to be like, you know what? Let me just literally search. I think I did like can break down of Vanderpump. Like someone out there has done like a diagram, a Venn diagram of these people. Because I've never watched an episode a day in my life, but I'm sitting here like, you know what? So that's all my TikTok is. That and Game of Thrones for some reason. I don't know how I got here. I like that I'm here, but like I'm trying to get back. I don't know. It's been a hot mess. Like I like House of the Dragon, and then that led me to Game of Thrones, and then I'm on like movie TikTok where I'll like watch movies, and like we could be here for days. Like
I saw that you made a note about that in one of the captions, the one where you mentioned Pearl, and you watched the whole movie on TikTok, and I was like, what?
Oh my god, that's like a thing. I didn't realize that I did that until I was talking to an ex-coworker about it, and they were like, yeah, I love watching movies on TikTok. And I was like, Oh my god, I do too. I like, I really did. I watched that entire, like, Up. I don't know what it's called. It was like Up or whatever. They were stuck on a pole. I don't know. I watched the
Hmm.
entire movie in parts on TikTok, and I
Oh
was
my
like, yeah,
god.
dude, I stay watching. I stay watching movies on TikTok. Like part 165. I'm like, yay, like I'm in
Yeah.
it. I'm in it. So
I've
just
watched like scenes and stuff of the movies and TV shows, but I've never committed to the whole thing.
I've committed.
Like it's always like the most dramatic scene. It always seems to be like in medical shows, and I'm like, oh fuck! Like, and I'll watch all of that part, and that's it.
Yeah. See, that's how they get you. You have to find the
Yeah.
accounts that post the whole movie. And I'm like, here we are. Like, I didn't watch House of Dragon outside of TikTok until it ended. And then I was like, all right.
I still haven't watched it, and I've watched Game of Thrones like multiple times all the way through.
You have to watch House of the Dragon. You're gonna love it. Anyways, oh my god. Okay. Anyway, so I've been burnt out, but I'm recovering. We're doing like a little party at my house this weekend. So I'm gonna be like partying up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our pool's open. We're ready. It's gonna be fun summer. I'm gonna have a really fun time.
Good.
But now that we're in it, this episode,
I didn't get to do Milo, bro.
I thought you did your low.
No.
Oh my
I did
god.
not.
Oh my god,
Well,
Haley.
I would like to amend what my low is to this moment.
I thought you did. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No.
I'm gonna sip my wine and stop talking. Wow.
No, my low is very similar to yours.
Mm.
In the words of Chandler from Friends, could I be any more burnt out? I don't think so. But yet I keep like descending into the pits of hell.
Yeah.
Of burnout. Sorry. I mean, it is what it is. I am getting a lot of those "Are you still there?" messages on Netflix and TikTok. I'm staying up till 3 a.m. for no reason. I'm having a blast. It's fine.
Everything's fine. Nothing's on fire. You're fine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're definitely not adding stuff to your plate either. No.
That bitch was already full. I cannot add any more.
I took half mine off and I'm like, you're done. You know
Yeah.
what? You're done. So okay. Well, now that Haley has said they're low, because I guess I read your low and I was like, this is my low. Like, we're the same. It's
Yep.
fine. We're both burnt out. It's okay. But the thing I hate about burnout is like, it makes me, I don't do anything and then I feel 10 times worse because I'm not doing anything. And it takes me off all of my routines, and then I just spiral for like a couple months just being absolute trash. Mm-hmm. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, we're back in our body. Just kidding. Let's get ready. It's just,
well, gotta clean up this mess that I made.
Yeah, because I was, I hate it. Okay.
I don't know if I've been burnt out for a long time. I think I'm just like, I'm not even saying that like to be sad. It's just like, I don't remember when I wasn't burnt out.
No.
A little bit, yeah. It's been that long.
As I say, keep like,
I'm not in like I'm not over at the mental institution that's a few blocks down the road, so could be worse, I suppose.
I mean, I guess, but I want to say, let's see. I've been on TikTok for 5 years. You've been on TikTok for 3 or 4?
I've definitely been like a customer of TikTok since like 2019, but I didn't start making content until lockdown, so like mid 2020.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been like that long. I haven't been burnt out for 3 years. I'd say probably at least 4 months. Maybe more. God. Yeah.
I was like trying to be like, well, damn, you had Appalachian Solstice. Like, I don't know. I feel like after you kind of got popular on that, you were like, we're doing a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that too. I guess maybe it was just easier to ignore then. I don't know. And that's how the burnout intensifies, because it's like, it's fine.
It's, you know what? I can handle it.
Shit'll buff, you know?
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. All right. So now that we have ranted and raved for a minute, let's go ahead and get into the meat. What do they say? The meat or the grits and potatoes of this? What do they say? Like, what's the?
It's the meat.
It's the meat.
I love meat. I love all kinds of meat. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying it without saying it.
Oui.
Okay, so this episode, we're actually sharing something other than the topic of fatness.
Take that, haters.
Yeah. 11 episodes in. Boom, we did it.
It's really difficult.
It's so hard. We are sharing our spiritual selves, our witchy selves, our little spiritual journeys, little spiritual lifestyle, I guess, is how we'll get into it. So we have, I'm like looking at the outline, like, all right, so how do we, I think we should do this a little bit differently. I think we should do our history, our beliefs, and then we should go into how we feel about the other stuff. So I've been talking for a minute. Hayley, lead on. Again. Right. All right, let's get spiritual. Welcome to the plus size section. Today we are talking about our spiritual beliefs, our spiritual practices, and our witchy side. Hayley, let's hear your origin story.
So, picture it. Sicily, 1892. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood today.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
But, all right. So, my origin. I was raised in a very conservative Christian household. So, as you can imagine, not the best place to be questioning the occult or beliefs in God in general. But yet, here I am. So I was actually thinking about this when I was writing out my part of the outline. Like, I got saved and baptized when I was only I was in second grade. Like, I was 6.
Wow.
And in hindsight, like, the woman who was like my witness or whatever, I'm a horrible former Christian. Like, I don't know half of what was going on, but like my witness or like my sponsor that like wasn't my family or whatever, she was supposed to like ask me all these questions to like, I guess, make sure I was really about it. And she only asked me 2 and was like, we're just going to cut it there because her answers are so firm. And in hindsight, it's like, bro, I was masking so hard. Like, I was just trying to be a little adult.
Well, you're too young.
Yeah. Like, obviously I know the gist of what I was signing up for, but I didn't really understand what I was signing up for either.
Of course, I don't understand that. I don't understand how they can say, like, children can't consent unless it's to be saved by the church.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Exactly. Which, like, children can't consent, but still.
Right! They can't consent!
Yeah.
So, like, what do you mean?
I don't fucking know, bro.
Okay.
So, between, like, from after I was, like, saved and baptized, I feel like when I was in church, like, I was just kind of vibing. Like, I never understood what the sermons were about. Like, it's not like I didn't comprehend the words. Right. It's just like, I don't know what's going on. Dude's talking about something. My mom is into it. I need to sit here and be quiet.
Right.
That was my role. But after the Harry Potter movies came out, I got a little curious. And it started out with me wanting to find, like, actual Harry Potter classes on the internet, like when I was a tween, because I just wanted to go to Hogwarts so bad. And I was Googling stuff, and of course, this was on the family computer, and I was printing out everything that I found and like putting it in this old backpack. Like I had a stack of papers of shit to just like flip through. I was like going to take myself to Hogwarts school, but it actually kind of got over into the actual occult stuff. And I didn't know the difference.
Right.
And my mom happened to find the backpack. And yeah, like that. It honestly, like, it, in hindsight, knowing how devout they are, like, she handled that way better than my dad would have. Okay. But of course, she sat me down, was like, it was a super serious talk, and was like, Hayley, like, I know that you're really into these movies, but they're just movies. They're not real. This is against God. I would really appreciate if you didn't do this. Like, worrying for my soul kind of thing. And I was like young enough that I was just like, okay. Like, I was probably like 10 to 12, not a teenager yet. But then after I became a teenager, I started like questioning a lot of stuff, like what I thought were normal questions, but they were never received really well. Like, if, like, basically, why did God do all this shit? Like, why does he let people suffer? I didn't get great answers to that. And by the time I was 16, I didn't want to go to church anymore, but that wasn't an option. So I decided to lean hard into it and make friends with the youth group kids, the kids in the youth group that at the church that we went to at the time. And to be honest, I just liked the other kids that went there. I really, in hindsight, didn't give a fiddly fart about God.
A fiddly fart, no.
Yep. But yeah, after I went to college, I decided I was an agnostic, and then that didn't go over well. Then later, I identified more as an atheist, and I did not reveal that to my family after how agnosticism went over. And I'd say I stayed there until probably like 2019. How far do you want me to go with this?
Just, I think what you're doing is great. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to California on a trip, and for some, I don't know why, but it like awakened like some woo-woo shit in me, and I got back and I was really interested in crystals and bought some crystals, got really into learning about that stuff and like meditation, and it like snowballed from there.
Yeah.
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 How I need to check in, like, am I going all the way to present, or
yes,
because I know you're doing this differently. Okay, all right. So then I discovered Witchtok, which is how I met you. Indirectly, the group that we were, the group that we were all in. Definitely really fell down that rabbit hole, and it was, I mean, in hindsight, half the shit, like, we didn't know. I mean, you knew because you've been practicing for so long, but the rest of us had no fucking idea what we were doing, but acting like we did.
Yeah.
But I feel like my thing with witchcraft is like, I feel like I've carried over the same attitude that I had around like Christianity. Like, if it feels like I'm doing it too much, like, it kind of like gives me the ick. Like, if it's like a ritualistic like part of my life, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Right.
And I haven't really been able to shake that, even though I still believe in that. And I feel like that is kind of what my belief system revolves around, is like spirituality and mysticism and all that. But I also got into herbalism, of course, did the girl boss thing and turned a hyper focus into an Etsy business.
Classic. Cheers.
Oh yeah. And amassed like over 20,000 followers on TikTok. And then I got scared and was like, I don't know what to do with this. But that was also around the time that like my back started to get really bad, and I didn't have the bandwidth to do the business like outside of that. And then with that and like life stuff and surgery and everything, all of it has kind of been on the back burner. I would say the one thing that has been constant would be astrology for me. I feel like I've gotten more into that over the past few years. And now it's just, I have all this stuff. I have all these crystals, and I still have the Hecate statue sitting behind my setup. And it's like, I want to get back into it. And I feel like I have to like be less burnout. It's like I want to, but if it was sitting down to actually do spell work, my brain would just want to go offline. Yeah. Because it's just like more thinking.
Yeah.
So
I have a hard time with filming mine. Mine is like, I have a daily practice. I try to maintain and stuff like that, and we'll get into that. But like, I have the hardest time setting up a freaking camera because everyone's like, make content. You want to make content. And I'm like, dude, do you know how much that takes me out of what I'm doing when I have to like film it and like make it into content? So it's like, that's why I haven't filmed a lot, because I'm like,
I just want to do it. Practice is really private too. Oh, you're a lot more private about what you do than like other practitioners maybe, which I mean, that is what it is, but
yeah,
I know that's kind of always been the attitude that you have had, is like, I feel like you would have to like do a fake spell to film it and then do the real shit later.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Even like the Money Bowl one that I made, there was parts of it where I was like, hey, I'm not going to show you this part.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to me, it's real, and to keep the authenticity of it, like, there's some parts like, I'm not going to show you because they're for me. You know what I mean? Like,
because there's also some haters that would be like, oh, well, I'm just going to fuck up her life kind of shit if they wanted to.
Yeah, which is, we'll get into that. We will.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Anyways.
Yeah. I do feel like that my practice has made me more appreciative of my roots, like being from Appalachia and learning about herbalism. Like, there are bits and pieces of information that I kind of picked up from my parents and my family over the years. And at the time I was like, oh, like this stuff's stupid, but it's really, I feel like it's important knowledge if that's something that you're interested in, but it's also something that's passed down that really isn't common anymore. And, being Appalachian and like practicing Appalachian folk magic, I wouldn't say it's like a closed practice necessarily, but I feel like if you aren't connected to the region in some way, it's not going to really make sense. Like West Virginians, and I feel like Appalachians in general, have such a pride for where they come from. And if you can't relate to that, I feel like it would just be like empty.
Yeah.
Like just going through the motions.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. This font is really tiny. But yeah, I actually think I covered everything except with, well, maybe I covered where I am now with spirituality. Basically, still just vibing. I'm an astrology girly, and I like to read about herbalism, but once I blew up on TikTok, it was like really hard to make content, and I still have all these ideas that I just like filmed and never did anything with, and the thought of trying to get back into that is really overwhelming. Like, I don't know, it seems like it's easier for me to talk about like this stuff and be more open with it and be able to embrace if we were to happen to blow up, like on, like if my VSG Instagram like blew up, like I feel like because I'm really passionate about it, about like body image and self-love and stuff, I feel like that would be really easy for me to talk about and like not draining. But there's that pressure behind herbalism, especially on TikTok, where everybody is just always ready to be like, well, actually, in the comments. And it's also the pressure, like, if you don't know enough to consider yourself an expert, like, people could get sick.
Yeah.
That's stressful.
Yeah.
Even with, like, the most innocuous herbs like peppermint or
Mm-hmm.
dandelion root. Like, there's certain conditions where people shouldn't be consuming dandelion root or reishi mushrooms or anything like that. It's just, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's very deep.
It is. I think there's this, when you're online in general, you know, unless you're saying like, hey, like I'm a beginner or I'm just now starting, there's this pressure of like showing up as an expert.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've always said, like, from the get, like, I don't really consider myself a teacher, like, when it comes to witchcraft, because everyone's practice is so different. Like, I can show you methods and stuff that have worked for me. I can show you techniques that have worked for me, but, you know, I want you to tailor it to your practice and your belief system. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's like, when I first started on TikTok, I was very much like, hey, like, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a hype girl. Like, I prefer coach over teacher, because a coach, you know, like they're just helping you through it. They're guiding you, where I feel like a teacher is like, they have to show you the right way. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like my brain has that narrative. So I think like when I have someone in my creators group that I'm in, and they're like, Sam, like just post a video. And I'm like, man, like I want it to be so simple. I want it to be that simple, but it's not, because it's like, oh, I don't know. So I think I'm going to go like my new content's going to be like going through my tarot decks and going through like my apothecary and showing people like what I have and how you can use it, how I use it. And I think that's going to be it for a while.
Yeah. Kind of come out, make like 5 videos, and then be like, whew, I'm done.
Exhausting.
See you next fall.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It is a lot. And that what you said about showing up as an expert, like, I feel like that is just kind of how existing online is now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard. Like, even like in my field, like as a graphic designer, like it's expected that it's just kind of, you have to eat, sleep, breathe it, shit it. And it's just, it's so much.
So
Like,
much.
Can't I just want I've said vibe like 800 times, but like I just want to chill.
Yes, because you're burnt out. So you're just like looking for the chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even with my ADHD brain, like I do not have the facilities to make everything in my life a personality trait.
Yes. God, that's so true. Let me go through my fixations. You know what I mean? Like every fixation has a season. So it's not that season yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. It will come back.
So true.
So true. So true. Okay. Are you feeling good? You feeling confident in your section?
I think so.
Okay.
Is there anything that sticks out to you that you feel like I didn't dive into enough, or?
No, I think you covered it great.
Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Okay.
So it's your turn.
Oh, my turn. So I grew up the complete opposite.
Of course.
The complete opposite. I grew up in a very, very open household. I grew up with 2 queer moms and a queer older sister, and I identify as pan, so I identify as queer, and it's very much like we were the charmed family. We were the, you know, practical magic girlies. Like it was nothing to come home and be like, oh, I got this book from the library, you know, and I think it was Raven Silverwolf or something, like was my first. Whoa. That was my first one. And my mom was like so supportive. She was like, babe, like just, you know, be careful, don't do anything stupid. And of course, like me and my friend did stupid shit, you know. But I did not grow up in the church. I mean, my grandparents went to church and I went with them, but my grandma was like, both of them were just so like open and supportive of who I was and what I was into. And then growing up in North Carolina, like I would go during the summers to be with my dad's side of the family, who I've shared is indigenous. I am part of the Saponi tribe, and they're located in North Carolina and Virginia, like right there on the line. So I grew up like going to the tribal center. We like built some of the tribal center, and it was a nightmare. And going to like Saponi camp, like my fat ass hated that shit because it was hot. And they were like, let's do some manual labor. And I'm like, for what? Like, why are we here? Have we not been through enough? Like, what? Like, spoiled suburban, like, little girl being like, our people have suffered. Like, why am I here? And they're just
Open
like,
your eyes, people.
yeah. And they're like, Sam, pick up the paver. Like, pick up the paver. I was so dramatic. Oh my god. But it connected me. It helped me build my pride. You know me. You know.
Yes.
So
I don't dream of labor.
Yes. Never. My Taurus moon is like, no, never.
Even that snap you sent me earlier with your beautiful sun hat, like, you were just Libra and Taurus through and through.
I love it. It was so hot outside, and I'm like, anyways, we'll get to that. But
yeah,
like I don't want to diverge. But anyways,
my bad.
So growing up, going to powwows, going, learning how to quilt, because that's what our tribe does, is we're quilters, and just like connecting myself to the roots of the earth. It really helped me, like, when I created my practice, it helped me realize like how deeply rooted magic was to both the earth and spirit. So I feel like I have like classic Libra, like I'm very balanced with my beliefs. I think that my mom was like, she's always been super, like, I think she's super woo-woo. She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, Mom, like, I grew up with rocks in the house. Like, you would be like, this one's special. Like, what are you talking about? There's a whole bowl by the front door of rocks. Like,
oh,
I love you. And she's like such a like kitchen witch, and like her garden is just like nuts. Our backyard is nuts. Like, she's just, both of them were just like, whatever you want to be, baby, just be it, just be happy. And I'm like, okay. So it wasn't any surprise to them, like, when I was like, I'm a witch, and they were like, that fits, that works out.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they realized how serious I was about it until I started, like, well, first, like, I in high school was very much like emo kid, right? It was my middle school through high school, very like emo girl vibes.
Oh yeah.
And then I kind of changed up my look when I realized like you could scrub, when like girls could wear, like, so we call it scrubbing down here, where like you wear sweatpants and a t-shirt.
Oh yeah. I think we've talked about this before.
Yes, that would like, that awoke me of like, I don't have to give a shit about dressing up. So that's when I just like scrubbed the rest of high school, the little part of it I was in. And then I moved to North Carolina and just partied. So there was no practice, there was no beliefs, there was just booze and boys. Like, from 2010 to 2015, it was booze and boys. Yeah. I was in it. I was in the thick of it. She was she was a crazy girl. A little bit. And then I went to the beach in, I want to say 2017. Yeah, it was 2017. And it was like, my aunt has this insane beach house. And it's like, it's one of those beach houses that only like rich people have, like, they get the like private area. And like, she has this like deck where it's right on the beach. Like, I could hop over and I would like walk a couple feet and I would like be in the ocean. Okay. Like, that's
awesome.
I'm going to die there. If I don't die there, I'm putting in a complaint. My goal is to move there. I swear I'm manifesting it so hard to move there. Anyway, so we went to the beach and I'm like sitting out there, and like, I was already like still, I would say like a little witchy, like, but not like full blown. And then I had like, I remember being there and I was like, there was a storm of like shooting stars. and I like left my body for the second time, and I like came back in, and I was like a completely different person. I kind of skipped over in 2011 when I had my surgery that I talked about prior. I had that. I like died during surgery, and I had that like that near death experience. And that's like, this is the story I normally tell people. I don't normally tell people about like what led up to it and how I almost died because of the medical fat phobia. I normally share like, hey, like, you know, I basically went into surgery and I left my body, and I saw them like poking me because it was like a laparoscopic.
Oh yeah.
So I could like see them, and I actually had like a panic attack.
Holy shit.
And so I like started like going into like failure because I was physically freaking out. And then that's when I got sucked into like nothingness. So when I went to the place that I went to, which was absolute complete darkness, there was nothing. There was no sound. There was no light. There was nothing.
Oh shit.
There was literally nothing. So I was like, so when I came back in my body and they were telling me about like what happened and, you know, letting me know I was okay, I was such a good kid up until this point. And then I was like cussing because I was in pain. And I was like yelling, and my mom was like, that's not my daughter. Like, my daughter does not cuss. She's a good girl. And then she came in there and she's like, baby, like, what's wrong with you? I was like, Mom, there ain't shit on the other side. There ain't a fucking thing. There's no heaven. There's no hell. When we all die, it's black. And she was like, okay, I think you went through a traumatic experience. And then like I was never the same after that. Like, yeah, that was like she even like to this day, she was like, somebody came back, but it wasn't my daughter. So that's why for a long time I thought it was like a walk-in, you know, and stuff like that. So
what do you mean?
So walk-ins, there's like a couple different authors on this. One of them's problematic. I don't know about the other one. But a walk-in is like a soul that the original soul of the body leaves, and then another soul comes in.
Oh, okay. It's like body snatchers,
it's
basically.
Like body snatchers, but like a divine plan. Like, so like walk-ins tend to be, the person that I'm quoting is Doreen Virtue, and like she's super problematic. So don't come for me in the comments. I know she's problematic, whatever. I'm just referencing her belief on walk-ins. She talks about how like they're here to like help people, and normally they can be like angelic spirits, stuff like that. So like they come and they help and they like awaken people. So like when I came in, or when I came back, it was funny because like I didn't like half the things that I used to like. I still don't. Like, I was a different person. Like, I'm a different person. So that's why some days I'm like, you know, maybe. I don't have any like a lot of like, you know how people have like their first memory, like, oh, I can remember this. I don't have any of that.
Oh.
So I think it's just trauma. Like, my logical stuff is like, girl, trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma. But, you know, some people are like, oh, it's because, you know, you're walking. Anyways. Moving forward.
So you don't remember your childhood? Is that what you're saying?
Not really. I remember the parts of it that I remember mainly are because of photos. And my mom is the one that put that together. Because she was like, there's no way you remember this. You remember seeing the photo. Like, I was too young. So, like, my memories are built off of looking at photos.
Huh.
Yeah. But I don't it's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe you. It's just...
It's weird, you know. Right? It's weird because a lot of people think about...
Never heard this before, too. Yeah, so I'm just like, really?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a hot topic. Because I think like people are gonna have like their own beliefs, obviously. So I try to just stick with like, yeah, like, you know, had a panic attack, coded, went to this dark place, came back, kind of was a different person. Could be the trauma, could be a spiritual reason. You know what I mean? Assign it how you will as you listen to the story. I don't really care. Because I don't care what you think. So, I mean, honestly, nice. I'm trying to get to that point where I don't care.
She said, if you don't like it, get fucked.
Like, basically, in the nicest way. In the nicest... Sorry, Hayley. I'm sorry.
You were killing me.
I know. I get it. I'm like so strong, and then I'm like, but like honestly, I hope you're okay. Like, be cool. So yeah, so that happened, and then I went to the beach in 2017 because I like just went super hard into addiction after that happened, which apparently is common.
After a near-death experience, or
yeah,
okay.
It's to, like,
I wasn't sure if you were speaking to that or like being a walk-in.
Both. People like the sciencey people say because of the NDE, the spiritual people say because you're a walk-in, and like walk-ins tend to be very like they can become addicts and stuff like that. Like it depends on whichever path you want to take with it. Both paths led me to addiction and partying and stuff like that. And then in 2017 I had my awakening, my like other awakening, which led me to spirituality and to like hone in my witchcraft practice. I think that I was more witchy at first because that was, to me, witchcraft is grounded. It's very much connected to the earth, the energies of the earth, and then you bring in energies of spirit, energies of different gods and goddesses. Like it's very like alchemy to me, where spirituality tends to be very like woo-woo sometimes, where I'm like, who am I, because it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
But some people you're like, you good? When's the last time you brushed your teeth with fluoride? You know what I mean? Like it's good. It's okay. Like I'm just wondering for me. I'm just curious. Because it's like I can tell you don't like the fluoride by this conversation we're having right now. So it just
your pineal gland is fully decalcified.
Yes. And I found that, so of course, like I was Wiccan at first. I feel like it's a very traditional path to take is to be Wiccan. And then I was like, this seems a little bit weird that they took this from all these different places. Then I went down the journey of searching all religions. And that's what made me be like, oh, I'm just witchy. Like I'm not Wiccan, I'm not like full-blown spiritualist, like I'm not a Buddhist, I'm not any of these, like I'm just spiritual and I'm just a witch, just I like to say practitioner of magic, because I like witch too, but if I want to get fancy with it, I'll be like, I'm a practitioner of magic. And then that led me deep into tarot, and that's where I live currently. Is I feel like when people get into spirituality, they pick a tool. A tool. You picked herbalism. That was your tool. It like calls to you. Your tool calls to you.
Right.
And I think everyone should like try different tools, to like see like, I don't like this, I like this. I don't like this, I like this. Tarot was a tool that immediately spoke to me. Right. And I was like, this is it. We're in love. You're it. And then my practice really didn't have a lot of crystals until I bought like an amethyst one day randomly. It was so I don't even know why I was in the metaphysical store. I wasn't. I was at a psychic fair with my friend, and she had like a crystal jewelry. That's what it was. She had a crystal jewelry business, and I was helping her, and I was at a psychic fair, and I like had my cards, and I was like practicing, and I was asking everybody like, hey, do you mind if I like, I'm new, like, can I do like a little reading? And they're like, yeah, babe. Like they were all awesome. So nice. So I was doing readings for them, and like my friend like made me something, a bracelet, I think. And then she showed me how to wrap it, and I was like, oh, I could do this. Like I could fuck with this. So like I did my own, jewelry business, because she was so supportive. She was like, girl, get it, And then I was like, my sister had actually texted me, and she was like, girl, do you know that there's like a whole entire witch community on TikTok? And I was like, no. She was like, what? Bro. she was like, dude, like you have to get on Witchtok. And I was so excited, because I was like, oh my God, there's so many people into witchcraft that are like from different areas of the world. Like this is going to be epic. And for the first year, for the 2020 to 2021, Witchtok popped off.
It was amazing.
Popped its pussy. I miss it. So it was like such an incredible community. Everyone was so open and loving and just like learning from each other. And then like it got gross.
Yeah.
It got all, I'm hexing you and I'm hexing you. And oh, like, you know, you're doing super racist stuff and you're this and this. And it just became super gross and unsafe.
Yeah. Very policed in like all directions.
Oh my God, absolutely. So I started my crystal business on Witchtok because I was like so excited about it and I was excited to post it and I had cute little earring studs and some of them were like lasted forever. I still have them to this day. And some of them, you know, when you're a business, like you run into stuff. So like some would like pop off the studs and I was like, oh God. So I'd like apologize 1,000 times and like send them other studs and stuff like that. And then I did that for a year. And it was so much fun. I loved it so much. I loved the community. And then my guides were like, okay, like you're done. Like it's time to, you know, do your intuitive services, like sell your tarot services. And I was still like, I don't know, super shy to do it and like super shy to be like, hey, like I have this ability to channel and I'd love to channel for you. And I'd love to, you know, talk to your dead people because I've always talked to dead people, but now I'm like recognizing that I can talk to dead people.
Right.
And that was fun, but I got scared and I stopped. And then I actually found myself doing more in-person off of offline stuff. Don't know how to talk. So I did readings at psychic fairs. That's always fun. I love doing psychic fairs in town. And then I was doing readings in offices, and then I worked at the metaphysical store. And that leads us to today, where now I work out of a tattoo shop doing readings. I do readings online. I have my old business. I used to do like cute little spell work, you know, and I was like, who is she? We love it. But yeah, I think my practice is definitely more traditional. Definitely more, you know, using more elemental. I don't have like 10 deities that I work with, even though I do believe in deities. I have like my top 5 that I tend to stick with.
A lot.
5's a lot. I feel like 5's a lot. I have like, you know, Hecate. I'm very open about working with Hecate, and I found that to be like her vibe. Because, like, the people that work with Hecate are very much like, I work, like, Hecate is that bitch. And I'm like, yes. Like,
she's like, say my name.
Say my name. Like, yes. Like, dance around for me. And we're like, we will. We will.
Absolutely.
She's the one I'm more. Eggs. Yes. Yes. Anytime I see people with eggs as an offering, I'm like, I know. Come here. I know what you know. I took the same class you took. You're powerful. Look at me. Look at me. I'm into it. Because that class was so intense. But anyways, so
I remember,
You remember? God. I loved it though. I loved it. Gave me such a deep practice. But yeah, so I still have a daily practice. I'm definitely more of the witchy one right now. But I think that I've always been the more witchy one, where just because of how open my family's always been and how supportive they've always been. And it was, I don't know, it was just always like okay to be who you are in my family. Luckily, blessed. I know, right? Blessed. I understand that. Blessed. Yeah. My husband's super supportive. Has his own practice. So like, it's weird to talk to people that like don't have spirituality in their life or witchcraft in their life. Cause I'm like, oh, like it's weird. Cause that's like our life. Our life is very much like, he knows when it's a new moon, I got shit to do. When it's a full moon, I also got shit to do. I will say this though, because I didn't grow up in being into crystals. So when I did get into crystals, I got into them hard. And then I still listen.
You did.
I did. And listen, guys, I love my crystals, but I think a lot of people, including myself, buy crystals and they don't realize, like, this is a lifetime purchase. It's a lifer.
I'm looking around at all mine.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you may be able to resell those for, like, 75% less than what you paid for it, unless it's a super special crystal.
Mm-hmm.
But because I see people all the time, like, trying to sell their crystals. Like, we would get calls all the time at the metaphysical store of, like, hey, like, are you guys taking crystals? And I'm like, no, babe, you invested. Like, that was a lifetime invested, my guy. Sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, your collection is much more robust than mine.
Yeah.
Which, like, the wholesaler that is reasonably close to you, like, if I live that close, same, you know.
Yeah.
But it is just, I wasn't even thinking about, like, having them for life. It's more like, God, when I move, I'm gonna have this, like, insanely heavy box of fancy rocks.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Like this, I know the people who are listening can't see it, but this labradorite slab
So
that I
beautiful,
got
though.
when I came to see you. Like, it was even just what I bought there. I had to ship most of it back because, one, they were sharp, and two, like, they were so fucking heavy. I didn't think I could take them through TSA.
Yeah.
And I was thankfully right. I'm glad I thought ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my house is surrounded by them, and I love them. And I notice, like, when you start getting into crystals, like, you get the basics, and then, like, for some reason you just start amping up. They start getting bigger or more specialty, right? Mm-hmm. So unique. Like unique, right? Like, and you're just like, ooh, but yeah. So that's kind of like, I don't know. I kind of like ran through mine, but I feel like there are some stuff that I'm never going to be fully comfortable sharing because my practice is very intimate. It's very personal. It's very connected. It connects me to my ancestors, my indigenous ancestors and my German ancestors. I'm very close with them. I would say, like, I'm a divination girly, like tarot, runes, any type of, like, fun divination method I can learn, I do. I'm a big history person, so I love learning the history of the occult. But I think that it's difficult for me to be like, okay, like, let's go through my day-to-day practice. Let's talk about it. Because I'm like, that's kind of like looking at my underwear drawer and those are my panties. You know what I mean? Like, those are mine. Like, but I do want to share with you. I did, I'm glad we're doing this episode because I do want to talk about, like, yes, that we're both very spiritual girlies. I would consider myself very much a practitioner of magic. I do love, the title psychic medium because I think it makes people be like, what? And I love it being like, I love it when people think, like, I'm stupid because of my beliefs. I don't know why. I just, like, laugh.
Yeah,
and
why do you love that?
I don't know. Because I'm just like, it's always like, anytime that I've had someone be like, that's so cute, psychic medium, so, like, tell me the lottery numbers, and I'm like, and they think it's, like, so stupid, and then I'm like, okay, but, like, if you don't wear that jersey during game day, you think your team's gonna lose. So, you know what? Let me have my beliefs and, like, what I think I'm capable of, what I know I've proven to myself I'm capable of, and you do your rituals, bro. I'll do my rituals, and how about we not make each other feel bad about them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
that's kind of like the crux of the whole issue, like, with religion in general for me, is once I realized how many different religions that there were, even, like, I can't remember, like, monotheistic, polytheistic, however many, all the different religions there are in the world, and, like, where Christianity fell, like, in the timeline of history, it just didn't, the math did not math. I was like, why is this one the one that's correct, other than because I said so? Like, and I could never get a better answer than that. Like, I really did want to know, and no one could ever give that to me. And in my neurospicy self was just like, fuck this then.
Right. Yeah. My parents, I don't have any type of religious trauma, but I think that it runs very deep in the witch community and the spiritual community. And I think like you said in the last
Jesus,
episode,
yes.
yes, like you said in the last episode, like people can turn, witchcraft into their own form of Christianity. To that, I kind of like to say like, hey, like Christianity took a lot of influences from a lot of places, including paganism, but also including like animism as well. Like ritual has always been a part of history. It's not just Christian. So when you feel like you're getting into a practice every day or every other day and you're like, oh, this is kind of Christianity, I just want you to know, like, it's not really, it's actually, people have had rituals and ritual practices from the beginning of time. Right. Christianity just packaged it a certain way. You know what I mean? So you're not being Christian, you're just being human,
Honestly, I really appreciate you saying that. Like, it's not a way that I ever thought about it before, even though I knew that Christianity did take so much from like paganism and pretty much everything else around it and kind of ruined the vibes. But I think for me what it is like I spent so much time being like in a Christian household, and I would like to just preface or like a little side note, like my parents are very devout, but they were never like psycho about it. Like there were no purity balls, there was no like, like not those daddy daughter dances where like the daughters promise to stay virgins till they're married. Like none of that weird shit. I was allowed to watch Harry Potter. And I mentioned that specifically because there was a neighbor of my parents that did not let their son watch like mainstream stuff. It wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter or anything like that. But they were just very devout and very conservative people. So it's not like whenever I was going to church, like we didn't go like every time the church doors were open. My dad was always just like, I'm not really about that shit. Sunday's good enough.
Right.
But it was more like, I think how I felt in it, like saying my prayers every night, the ritualistic aspect of it. And then once I moved away to college and stopped going to church and it stopped being so prevalent in my life, I think I just felt free.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have to do anything that I didn't want to do. And I think that has also turned into just avoiding anything that could feel like a ritualistic routine.
Right.
Like in terms of my beliefs. But I feel like that's also kind of silly of me because, I mean, how much time does your daily routine take out of your day? Like maybe an hour tops?
Not even an hour. It takes like maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've never felt restricted by my practice. And I think that when you start to feel restricted, that's, you have to give yourself some breathing room. And that, again, like everyone's practice is going to look different. And yours looks like you don't want to do a daily routine and you don't have to. Like the people that preach that, in order to maintain a connection to a deity, you have to pray to them every single day. Like, nah, bruh. Like, I don't know, from my perspective, no. If you feel that way in your heart of hearts and that's your practice and you're a devotee of that God and you feel like they need this every day, then like, do you? For me, that's not what it feels like, even though I have a daily practice. Like, I'm not going to force that on anybody else or tell anybody else that their connection isn't just as great. You know what I mean?
Right. I think that was... I know we're going to get into Witchtok, but I feel like that attitude did kind of kill it for me. That, if you're not doing it every day, like if everything in your life is not centered around spirituality, then you're a fucking poser, basically.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Like, let's talk about Witchtok. Like, let's fucking talk about it now because, like, I'm done with my side. I may open up more about it, but we're good.
We're just laying the groundwork here.
Exactly.
We can talk more about it moving forward.
Exactly. But yeah, Witchtok was such an amazing place. I feel like there are still, like, our side of Witchtok, I feel like, is still an amazing place. I still have some amazing mutuals on Witchtok, and it was such an incredible community at first. I made some amazing friends through Witchtok, you being one of them. You know what I mean? Like, it was something special, and I think that it allowed so much freedom of expression. It was like we were all finally out and we were showing our practices. And I think when it became about views and following and profit, it kind of turned into, you know, capitalism popped her pussy on it and was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me ruin this right quick. Let me ruin this.
Honestly, though, I feel like that is exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
I enjoyed the beginning of Witchtok so much. Like, the time frame that you talked about, like, I totally agree. Like, that was the best because it felt like one of the first spaces where, and I know this is silly to say because it's like the internet is public, anyone could see it, but it felt like it was the first time that I could just be myself and I still wasn't even fully myself. But I think being with COVID happening how it did and me spending so much time at home, I got in touch with me, who I was and what I wanted for the first time starting at age 28, which is like, that's sad to say.
So true.
But I think that my late arrival to like this belief system, you starting so young, I feel like you got to explore and learn and decide parts of your practice for yourself before you had millions of people online in your ear saying the right way to do it, the wrong way to do it. Like, you had books,
right?
And you had the people around you, and not really getting into this until TikTok. I feel like that is also part of it. It's everyone has a different way of doing it, and I'm so used to like having to follow the rules that it's like I don't know what to fucking do. And saying it's whatever you want it to be is like even scarier.
Right. I mean, because it is. I think that it's like, of course, because I am more traditional, like I tend to follow a certain set of rules. I tend to follow a certain set of this means this, but I also understand that just because I find fulfillment in that practice, I find fulfillment in doing a ritual that has been done, you know, that was done in the 1950s, the 1930s, the 1920s, whatever, trying to find, you know, recreate that ritual. I like doing that. But if somebody wants to use rosemary as an herb and assign it whatever intention they want, I don't give a shit. That's what they want to do. It's their practice. And if they're seeing results from that, bless, bro. I'm so glad that you don't have to, you know, use this ingredient that I had to ship from England. Like, that's pop off, you know, because for me, I feel like I need that. But if you feel like you can do that, that's amazing. I think that was kind of the breakdown of spirit of Witchtok, is not only when it became profit and capitalism and, you know, no one was an authority figure unless they had, you know, 100,000 followers. And even the ones that did have 100,000 and more, they should not have been authority figures.
Right. I know we talked about that a lot.
We talked about that, you know, is just because they have a large following doesn't mean that they're someone to aspire to be. And I think that was hard for a lot of people to, that's why you have all the creators that ended up being canceled and having the undoing and stuff like that, is because I think ego gets in the way. And I remember making a video and just being like, hey guys, just so you know, wasn't always a good person. So if something comes up, if someone pops on your For You page and says like Sam actually sucks, like honestly, like they could be telling the truth, guys. Like I've pissed off people in my past. Like I do have a past, not to me. I mean, thank God it's not like that problematic. It's just like a past of like, I hurt this, I broke off this friendship, or I,
I ghosted someone.
I ghosted somebody, stuff like that. Like, that's kind of my past. But, if you see a For You page of someone being like, hey, like, Sam actually fucking sucks. Like, hey, dude, like, I'm not perfect. And I would never come online and say that I am, because that's just inviting trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that Witchtok just got chaotic. And I think that the hexing for me was just like,
we're gonna hex the moon.
Yeah.
God.
And it's like, I feel bad because that
made the news.
I know. It became so much larger than I think anyone really intended. And if they had just done it, like, honestly, if they had done it and no one cared, nothing would have happened. Nothing would have happened. Nothing. But, like, that's the thing with TikTok, especially with Witchtok. Like, there's like a scandal and people make videos about it and it just spreads like wildfire.
Yes.
And people don't realize, like, that's what this person wants. This person wants you to talk about them. They want you to create those videos. And it's like, no, bro, like, I hex the moon. Let me know how that works out. Like, honestly, you're a cute little experiment. This is cute. Like, I would love to see what happens. Like, I'm curious. I would love, can I get an update? Like, whatever you want to do, bro. Like, that's, you have people saying, like, oh, like, remember when there was, like, that big thing on Witchtok with people, like, sleeping with their deities? And I'm like, pop off. Like, ghost sex, cool. Like, spirit sexy time. Like, how do you feel? Like, I don't go about it like, you're wrong and this is terrible and I'm gonna hex you for doing that. It's like, I don't... The energy, I don't have it.
I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
I think for me, something else that I do think holds me back as far as that stuff goes is, like, hexing the moon and, like, having sex with your deities. Like, those specific things. Also, I think because I was so late to the party, like, I see that and I'm like, there's no fucking way you believe that. Like, you're lying to me right now. You're lying for views. And I feel like I struggle with that still with a lot of spiritual things. And I know that I've talked to you about those privately, being like, so what is actually going on here?
Right.
So I feel like I approach everything skeptically. But on the other hand, like, I genuinely do believe in, like, the power of plant medicine, astrology, manifestation. It's almost like it catches me on a bad day and I'm like, well, you're lying. You're an idiot.
I used to be very critical. I used to be in a conversation with someone and they would say something that, like, I don't believe. And I would, like, I would disregard this person completely. I would disregard their beliefs, their past. Hot. I would disregard.
It's a can.
I would disregard. This is ASMR, like, love right now. It's amazing.
I'm so sorry. I could have picked a better time.
No, it's fine. Okay, so I used to be like that. If somebody said something that I didn't believe or was being critical of, I would completely disregard the person. I would disregard anything they said, their history, and then, like, I swear. Like, I'm about to sound so woo-woo right now, but, like, I like went through this lesson and, like, I swear my guides put me in front of the most out there people that, like, I was like, I could not escape because I either worked with them or they would come into the metaphysical shop. So I was a GM, like, I had to speak with them, have a conversation. I couldn't be rude. And, like, it taught me that I may not agree with some parts of what you're saying, but I'm not going to disregard your experiences.
Right.
And that has helped me so much because I would just be like, you're gone, you're done. Like, no, you're quirky. You know what I mean? And it was like, no, like, they've been in the business for 30 years. Like, if they want to believe that, it doesn't hurt me for them to believe it. And you know what?
That's true.
As long as they're not being, like, actively harmful to another person, like being racist or anything like that, like, pop off, I guess. Like, especially when they say it and it's like, that's their truth, you know, and you're just like, I aspire
like, no hesitation.
Like, I aspire to be like you and not have anxiety about that. I aspire. That's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to see. So yeah, because I used to be just like that, and now I'm just like, oh, crazy, you know, because it's like a big thing, like when the whole like the sleeping with your deities came up, and people were like, no, like, you're sleeping with like an energy vampire, or you're sleeping with like an egregore, and it's like, all right, like, you know what, hear me out. So what?
Yeah.
So what? So what if they
That's
are?
true.
And
like,
they're gonna learn. They're gonna learn. If you think that their soul is being sucked away by this entity, like, I mean, you know,
yeah.
I
honestly,
feel like,
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, I think it's more, I get like butthurt about like people just lying, period. Like, that is just like something that sends me. But yeah, like, if they are, you know, getting down with an egregore, or they're just fucking, you know, pulling my leg, just saying some wild shit to see if I buy it, it does affect them more than it would me. You know, it affects me zero.
Right. I'd be like, that's so crazy. Was it good? Like, I don't know. How was it? Like, or
did
like,
you nut?
Right, like, or like, remember when the crystal confetti gate happened? Oh my god.
Oh god, no.
That was nuts. That was so crazy. I'm not gonna say names or anything like that, because, like, God forbid, I don't need that heat. But
no,
that shit was,
I don't want those people on our feet.
That shit was wild to see happening, because, like, you're just like, wow, like,
yeah,
it was nuts. And it's like, bro, like, they're crystal ships.
Capitalism. And then people got fucking wild with it and started putting things that they couldn't even fit into the scoop, like incense packets that were like a foot long, which is cool, you know, like, I fully support small businesses, like, giving their customers an experience.
Yeah.
But it's also like, this had to have cost you so much money.
It did.
You can't even stir it. You cannot even stir it.
I didn't do the crystal confetti, but I did, like, I mean, before that even started, because I'd had my small business, like, before they even started theirs, it was like, I would give, not saying I was the inspiration. I'm just kidding. There's no fucking way. But I would give freebies. I would give like the raw crystals. Remember?
You instructed me to do the same thing.
Shit was expensive.
That was still expensive.
It was expensive as fuck. You just like, and I'm just like, you're gonna eat it, because, like, I wasn't a candy giver or a sticker person, because, like, I just didn't. That wasn't on brand for me. But, like, giving you a couple raw stones was on brand. And then I was like, oh, I'll do tumbled. And then I got my wholesaler, and I'm like, oh, I'll just do like a bunch of other stuff. And I'm like, man, this is like a $10 order, and I'm just like packing in the freebies. I'm like, it's like raising the shipping costs because the weight, like, bruh, you know. But that shit was wild. Yeah, capitalism was the undoing of Witchtok, for sure. It really was.
I did love your store, though. Like,
God, it was so good.
I was such a stan for someone who was, like, not your friend when I first discovered it.
Thank you.
I was like, this shit is cool.
Thank
All
you.
These crystals? And you were really good at it.
I loved it. I loved making it. I have a box of, like just a box full of, like, letters and notes and from all my customers. I'll keep them forever. If you're listening right now and you were a customer of Many Moods, like, I love you. I love you so much. I know that the self-care witch, I know she's one that has followed me through all my phases, all my names. Like, I love her. Lily's the same. Lily, I met Lily through my business. Like, I just like, it brought me so much support and so much community, and I miss it every single day. And I'm trying to just, like, listen to my guides, you know what I mean, and know that, like, that my path has changed. But man, I loved creating crystal jewelry, and I loved it. I loved selling it. Everything about it was amazing. But it's okay.
I still remember whenever you told me that you were switching gears. Yeah. And I was like, no way. Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that? That's how everybody was. Cause like, I feel like when you normally quit, it's because like you're not doing well. And like, I was doing great. Like business was popping up.
Top.
I did. I was like, you know what? We're popular. Everything's doing good. We're done. Like, it's just because they were like, hey, like, we know that you love doing this. But like, it's time to change. And I was like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, like, and I made the announcement and I was so sad about it. And I was just like, guys, like, I'm not saying I don't want to do this because I definitely don't want to do this, but like I'm trying to trust my guides and like my path and, you know, listen to them. And I mean, it did work out the way it was supposed to, but man, mini moods popped off. Amazing. It really was so great. It was amazing.
I feel like if you hadn't pivoted away from it, you would have never ended up where we are now.
I wouldn't have.
We would not be doing this.
No.
Which I think is really beautiful.
You're right. It's so true.
Your guides, I think, have tapped in. They're like, here.
Yeah. Right. Like, and I mean, it's true. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be sitting here with you and having this amazing podcast if I had stayed with Mini Moods. I would have just kept, you know, creating jewelry and having, you know, capitalism, like falling into capitalism. I feel like, even though I loved it, it was still like I did have the pressures of having a business.
Oh, yeah.
Like a product-based business, which is a lot. It's a lot.
Oh yeah,
product is you know, product is a lot.
Yeah.
So
all of my products sitting over here.
Yeah, mine are whispering in the back, like, "Don't you remember us?" I'm like, "Shh,
just come back."
Right? Like, no, I'm
fine. You liked wrapping wire around me.
Yeah, I really did. But it's okay. Yeah. All right. I love your store though. I still stand Appalachian Solstice. I think half my stuff is out of date and I'm still like, it's good, shake it up. Like,
my store is still open. That shit is still available, but you should make good use of all of it. That's why I told you when I reopened that I had how many of that one perfume that you love that I had. So I know she loves it and I don't want her to miss it.
I'm gonna plug right quick. I don't know if you guys are perfume girlies or guys or they them's listening to this right now. Hayley has this perfume called Prosper. It's like a roll-on perfume.
Yep.
I love it so much.
Perfume oil.
I wear it every day. It's so good. I mean, it's so good. It lasts forever. Smells amazing. Put it in your purse. Put it in your bag. Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, you should get it.
Each difference. I'm just going to like plug it too. Each different scent of the perfume oil has a corresponding crystal inside to intensify the magic.
Pops
In case anyone didn't know, the store is Appalachian Solstice on Instagram and Etsy.
Yes.
Not TikTok anymore because I hijacked my own account, but Instagram and Etsy.
Yes. Pops off. I love it. But yeah, so, I mean, honestly, how are you feeling? You have anything else to add? I feel like we're
in a groove, but I do feel like we covered everything.
I think we covered everything, right? All right, so I'm going to ask them. We're going to do a little, let us know, everybody, what your spiritual practice is, if you have one, if you're interested in developing one. How do you feel about witchcraft? How do you feel about having religious trauma? If you have it, like, let's just start a conversation, okay?
Absolutely.
But I think that's our time for today. I hope you liked a different type of episode. Make sure that you follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Yeah.
I think Facebook. Also.
Facebook. Yeah. But I think that's our time, folks. Thanks for joining us.
We love you guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.